Hi, my name is Cathy Andronikou, and today I'm going to show you how to use Chameleon pens to colour with silk. Now we will be using this silk painting kit from Silk Craft UK. Now this already comes with a pre-gutted silk image. Now the other thing you will need to do to your silk, if you're not going to use an embroidery hoop to raise it and stretch the silk, you'll need to use a backing paper which has been ironed on already. So here I have my image all ready to colour. So to begin, I'm going to take my warm sunset pen and I'm going to use the brush nib end of my pen. I'm then going to infuse the brush nib with the mixing chamber, and I'm going to leave that on there for around about 5 seconds. Then once I've done that, I'm then going to go from the centre of my petal, and I'm going to use a side-to-side motion, and I'm going to gradually go down towards the petal until it gets back to the centre. So I'm going to repeat this process on each and every petal. Again, leaving it on each time for 5 seconds. Now if you want a longer fuse time and a longer blend, you will need to leave it on for longer because the silk will absorb the ink a lot quicker than it is absorbed on paper. But I'm wanting a fairly strong effect because these petals are quite small. So I'm going down in each petal, and this will give a nice, beautiful ombre effect. When you're colouring, don't go too fast and make sure you go slightly over the last line that you've coloured, and that way you will not get any streaks. So now I've finished going in with my first colour, I'm now going to add a different colour to the outside edge of my petals. So this time I'm going to use the deep violet. Again, I'm going to use the brush nib end, and I'm going to infuse for around about 5 seconds again. Again, when you're infusing, make sure that the pen is held upright so that gravity is working with you and pulling that toning medium into the nib of the pen. So I'm going to start off where I had it lightest, and I'm gradually going to build that colour out to the tip. Now because these images are already gutted, the actual ink will not go outside the lines, but if you're using a scrap piece of silk, you will need to get some gutter and put on for your own images if you wish to do that. So you can see here I'm now working from the centre out towards the edge of my flower. And I love the way the colour just pulls in between the two different shades. For some of these bigger petals here, I'm actually going in slightly longer and leaving it on for around about 10 seconds. Now don't forget, when you're using these pens you will need to hold them fairly upright because you don't want the colour at the base of the nib of the pen to go onto the silk. You're only needing the tip and you don't have to press very hard at all. So now I'm just going to go in and I'm going to do the centre of my flower the same colour. So I'm now going to repeat this process, but this time I'm going to use the summer sun. And I'm going to work on this flower here, working from the centre out towards the edge. Again, infusing each time for around about 10 or 15 seconds in this case. I'm a little bit too dark than where I want to be there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my yellow and I'm just going to let it infuse for a long time. I'm going to say around about 20 seconds here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to touch into that purple area just to lighten that shade off just that little bit. Just to pull that colour down so that it's not quite so intense, as you can see here. And because I now have created a line, because silk will do that, if you go back over an area it will create lines for you. So now I'm just going to go back in and I'm going to just pull that line down so that it reduces the intensity of that image. So now I'm going to use the blue violet And again, I'm going to use my brush nib, and I'm going to infuse again for around about 15 seconds. For my final flower, I'm going to use the Seville orange. And again, I'm going to leave this on for around about 15 to 20 seconds. And then the purple grape. So now I've decided that I think the centres of my flowers need a little bit more colour. So I'm just going to go in and I'm going to revisit this here and just put a little bit of the blue into each one, but I want the merest hint. So now I'm going to repeat that process on my other flowers. I'm actually not sure I'm liking the blue, so I think I might go over it with a warmer colour just to soften that shade, because it is that little bit too cool for my liking. So I'm just going to go over this with the warm sunset because I think that might work a little bit better. So now I'm just going to go over that blue with the purple grape just to tone that down as well, because it's too intense compared to the other flowers. The good thing is with the Chameleon pens you can actually overlay colours and get new different shades come through. And then again, as we did before, just flick in a few bits of colour into here. I've decided to give them a spring meadow border around the edge of the flowers. So this time I want to let it infuse for quite a long time, around about 25 seconds. finally I'm going to go back with my warm sunset, and I'm just going to go around my edges here. And then I'm just going to use the purple grape into the corners. So here we have our finished sample. Now all we have to do now is pop this into a card. That will be stuck in. I'll just line that up. And that will be our finished project. Thank you for joining me today. For more ideas on how to use Chameleon pens, don't forget to check us out at chameleonpens.com and also on our blog at blog.chameleonpens.com. Thanks, bye!